Right now at 5, our top story and the latest information. 5 people seriously hurt in an overnight home explosion in Jeffersonville, Indiana. The basement's all that left, the home destroyed end to end.
That's right. The victims rushed to University Hospital in Louisville. 2 critical enough, they were sent by helicopter. The Jeffersonville Fire Department is still determining that cause of the explosion. And
Connie, 1 hour ago, we learned that there's no foul play involved in this tragedy in Jeffersonville. WHAS11's Ian Hardwitt and senior photojournalist Alyssa Newton are back at the scene live. And Ian, in this new update, do they know yet what caused this huge explosion?
Doug, not yet, but Jefferson police warned against wildly speculating about how this might have happened as the Jeffersonville Fire Department actually investigates the cause. Now, we also know that those 5 people in the hospital are there with life-threatening injuries now. That's new within the past hour. If you want to take a look at the scene here, you might understand how serious this is. Like you said, Doug, end to end, the basement totally gone. The house was standing earlier when it was on fire, but now it's just sitting here on the ground. Now, the department also reassured that there's no evidence that this explosion was intentionally set off. No other homes or people surrounding this were injured. That's different from a 2019 explosion that happened just over this tree line over here.
The basement is all that's left of this house in Jeffersonville, Indiana, that blew up around 11:40 p.m. Wednesday night. Ronaldo Castro took this video of the ensuing blaze before running and pulling some of his neighbors to safety.
That's crazy. I've never seen a house completely gone. I was just in my yard and heard a big boom.
Heartland Ambulance paramedics arrived within 10 minutes, treating 5 people for burns. A helicopter picked 2 up from Jeffersonville High School.
And that's the most important thing, is to get these people to the proper level of care, which is the trauma center, as fast as possible. And I don't think that could have gone any better than it went last night.
For some Capitol Hills neighbors, this explosion is their first. But for many, what happened here on Washington Way echoes a deadly blast on nearby Assembly Road in 2019. A small tree line and 6 years are all that separates the 2 explosions. Wayne Woods lost his neighbor across the street, Bill Phillips.
You know, this gas built up in his house so much, it was a lot worse than this. And this is horrible, you know. But Bill, I mean, it totally blew him out of the house. These elderly people that lived in the neighborhood, he would go around and mow their lawn, help them in their lawn, stuff like that. He was a good guy.
While Wednesday's explosion is still under investigation, 2019's started because of a gas leak under the energy company Vectren. It was bought out by CenterPoint. Within 20 minutes of the explosion, CenterPoint arrived, digging up and shutting off the natural gas line to the house out of caution.
I don't know if it's the people that done the lines or whatever back in the day, but you know, my gas line is right by the bedroom, you know, so it does make you think. Anything could happen at any time, you know.
Kedron Pulliam is one of several neighbors having their houses inspected for leaks. CenterPoint says it hasn't detected any so far.
You know what? Nobody else needs to die. You know, thank God bless these people, you know, survived it. They're in bad shape, but they survived it.
Woods said he'll be keeping those 5 people who are in this house in his prayers, along with several other neighbors in this area. Again, Jeffersonville police say it's harmful to speculate what could have caused this. He's asking people to focus on the victim's recovery here, where no foul play is suspected at this time. For now, I'm live for WHAS 11 News. Ian Hardwitt on your side.
Ian, thank you. As you were just mentioning, the house backed up to the explosion today was the scene of a deadly explosion that happened 6 years ago. 1 person died in that blast. 3 others were hurt on Assembly Road. After officials say gas was filling the home for 12 hours leading up to the huge explosion.
At that time, Vectren was the company providing gas to the subdivision. That company has since merged with CenterPoint. Their investigation found an unknown source ignited the gas, causing the explosion at 4:54 a.m. That explosion killed 1 man, William Phillips, who lived in the home. His wife was also home at the time. She was hurt but survived.
Another story we've been following today for you on WHAS 11 News. Police down in Bardstown say a man who shot at police officers and barricaded himself inside a home for 5 hours overnight is in jail this morning. It all started around 10 o'clock last night when police responded to shots fired on Evergreen Court. They say that they found 43-year-old Travis Bowman armed and aggressive. Officers say he immediately barricaded himself inside a home there, and over the next few hours, he fired several rounds, several shots at officers outside. Nobody was hurt. Bowman was taken into custody at the Nelson County Correctional Center. He is charged tonight with both attempted murder and wanton endangerment of a first responder.
All right, well, driving around today, it was cloudy, and then it was sunny, and then it was cloudy again. I couldn't figure out what was happening.
Well, you know, we're promised a cool front, Connie. Tomorrow's supposed to feel different. So, Mallory, I'll go ahead and accept the fact that our afternoon thunderstorms actually decided to come in around 11 a.m. today.
Yeah.
I mean, they just popped up out of nowhere.
Yep.
So it was all thanks to that front. It actually arrived a little bit ahead of schedule there. So that should bring in the cooler air and the less humid air a little bit earlier as well. Right now, temperatures are certainly cooler than this time yesterday. We are in the 70s and 80s, but you're still feeling some of that humidity with dew points still in the 70s for now. But if you just go a couple hours up the road, dew points are in the 60s, and that drier air will really filter in tonight and more so into the day tomorrow. Still tracking a few spotty showers or thunderstorms on the radar. The bulk of it is now far down to our south with the front. So Carol had a very spotty shower, including in the Louisville metro here for the next hour or two, but many of us will continue to dry out. Overnight lows tonight will be dropping down into the 60s under partly to mostly cloudy skies. And then we're expecting that gorgeous weather just in time for Friday and the weekend. We'll take another look at that forecast coming up shortly.
Mallory, thank you. President Donald Trump officially declaring a major disaster in 23 Indiana counties. That opens up funding from FEMA for families who were impacted by the severe flooding, tornadoes, and high winds all in April.
A state official made a visit today to Utica, touring the recovery efforts and pledging her office will properly manage that FEMA money. Well,
we were there. WHAS 11's Alexandra Goldberg got a seat on the tour bus.
We've got the comptroller down here. FEMA finally declared things are bad, and we just need to get these people help.
That's Steve Long, Utica Town Council president, playing host to state politicians who made the trip from Indianapolis to Clark County. The state comptroller, Elise Nashala, is meeting with local leaders in Utica, touring the areas that saw severe flooding in April.
The normal pool is like 12 feet. You had 12 foot of water stocked. In 8 days, it went to 37. So that's 25 feet of water that got stacked up.
The visit comes just days after President Donald Trump approved a major disaster declaration for 23 counties in Indiana. It allows FEMA to provide federal disaster assistance to the areas affected by severe storms, straight-line winds, tornadoes, and flooding from March 30th to April 9th. Nishala's first stop, the center of town. Her role is similar to the responsibilities of a state auditor.
So the funds that you all receive will be responsible for making sure that all of the federal funds that come to you are properly accounted for.
They will be.
They will be.
Long says it's a sigh of relief.
You don't know how much it means to us because we want our people helped. And this is the only way we can help them.
Now preparing for federal dollars to cash in. In Utica, Alexandra Goldberg, WHAS 11 on your side.
Utica's Town Council President Steve Long says nearly 30 homes are vacant because they just don't have permits to rebuild after sustaining such severe damage back in the April storms.
He says FEMA and Indiana Homeland Security will start to organize application details next week.
Well, in Kentucky, let's talk about our state. You'll remember this scene, that boat that floated right down to the Great Lawn in April. Governor Andy Beshear announcing yesterday that FEMA denied individual assistance for Christian and Todd counties. That's Western Kentucky. Other counties, including here in Jefferson County, were already approved for that aid. The governor was also denied a hazard mitigation grant that would have helped fund long-term solutions that reduce the impact of disasters in the future.
There's a new group aiming to curb gun violence in the metro. Louisville Mayor Craig Greenberg announced the new Community Safety Commission today. This group will get reports from the Safe Louisville Crime Plan and give feedback on that plan. This team has 3 groups, and they include someone from each of Louisville's police divisions, local organizations, and local leaders. The mayor said the commission's main priorities are improving public safety and reducing violent crime, plus helping with police reform and improvement as metro government implements its community commitment. Now, Executive Director of Community Safety, Misty Wright, helped spearhead the Safe Louisville Plan.
We need a group of people with diverse perspectives who are willing to engage and to listen and to have conversations and ask questions, and ultimately to collaborate toward that shared goal of making our city safer. and this group fits the bill.
Well, the mayor said there were about 200 applications to join this commission. The group is very diverse as well. Members' ages range from 20s to 90s, and some of the organizations represented are the ACLU of Kentucky, the Center for Women and Families, plus Big Brothers Big Sisters of Kentuckiana.
Back to school, first day for class in Greater Clark County, Indiana there, Greater Clark County School District of Southern Indiana for the students today. And of course, the parents. We're not forgetting the parents. And one school in particular is super excited to be back for another year for two big reasons. This is the final year for the current Parkwood Elementary School building, which is going to be demolished next year when a new school building will open. And that's when it'll also be rebranded from the Parkwood Pirates to Parkwood Phoenix. But this year, all the buzz is around the school's new dual language immersion program.
It's the only one in the district, and it's currently the only one in Southern Indiana. So it's an 80-20 model. So our kindergartners are taught 80% of the day in Spanish and 20% in English.
All kindergartners?
All kindergartners in the dual program.
Carson Rose there says the goal is that by the time they graduate, they're not only bilingual, they're biliterate, which is highly marketable as they'll go through middle and high school.
And hey, speaking of back to school, we want to see your first day photos. You can text them to the number that's right there on your screen. That's 502-582-7290, and you might just be featured right here on WHAS 11.